show you the next unit right now and shit. It's really
Yep.
cool, bro. And then, like everything's been kind of rearranging, still coming together and everything.
Can't wait to see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
man.
I've been telling you too. You gotta link up with my boy Kenji, man. I don't know if you've done music in a while, but he's dope ass producer.
I still got it. And I've been meaning to hit you up about that to do it because like my homeboys back home have been on me about that. They're like, bro, you got to get back into it. And I'm like, because my homeboy, two of my homeboys make beats and stuff and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I got my Brody Bulb down in Atlanta. He's getting linked. He's low key getting linked in with some people down there making shit, doing his thing. So,
dude, Atlanta shit is fire.
I
would go there. I want to go there too, just to visit.
Oh yeah, shout out to my homie London. Shout out to his boy Neezus and all that stuff. Those two going crazy, low key. That they really doing it.
Yeah.
But welcome to the Put Me Out Something podcast. I am your host Alejandro Gomez.
What's up, everybody? It's Euroson on Tom.
And we got a special guest today.
What's up? My name's Cameron, but AKA Grim, if you want to go by that too. Glad to be here.
Yes, sir.
Dude, it's long awaited, man. I'm glad you pulled up, Grim.
Hey, you know I have to step in.
Thank you for coming in, man. I mean, it's always like a great time having a special guest, especially with your kind, having like a background in like fashion and all the anime stuff that you have.
You know, I feel like I've collected enough knowledge over time that I find it be able
very
to spread
versatile.
it now and all that stuff. And it's surprisingly helped me over the years. I used to think that it would never come in use to have all this random knowledge of the internet and anime and TV.
Yeah, quiet knowledge. Yeah.
You go by Cam or Cameron?
Either or. I used to go. I go by Cameron. My homies back home used to call me Can the Cone Man.
Yeah.
You know.
Where are you from, like originally?
I'm originally from Illinois. Well, so I was born in Baltimore. Lived there about till I was like 2. Then my parents moved to Illinois to go because they worked for State Farm, and State Farm's like main headquarters thing is in my town, Bloomington, Normal, Illinois.
Yeah.
And so I lived out there for pretty much until about 23, I want to say, and then I moved out here.
What part of Illinois?
We're about like 2 hours between Chicago. About there, and a town called Bloomington Normal. It's like a twin. They call it like a twin city because it's like two cities that have been put together and stuff. And that's where I used to run around most of the time.
Yeah. So out there, when you said Bloomington, yeah, is that the equivalent kind of like to Mesa to Phoenix, or like Phoenix to like Queen Creek distance, Glendale?
I would say more. The way they explain it, because like the way Midwest cities are set up is that like you'll either have like decent sized medium cities, or you'll have like towns you'll drive through in a minute. So my town would be like considered a medium size. Like our downtown, no joke, you drive through it, you're gonna miss it.
Oh, kind of like downtown Mesa.
Oh no, I think it's like more like when you're heading out out of state, you pass by like a little town on the side, and like it looks like a little few houses right there, but it's like a little town. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they have like a bunch of like a few bars, some stores, and that's like a downtown area and everything. And so that's like kind of like my town was kind of set up, because it's also a college town, because we have 2 different colleges. We have ISU, Illinois State, and we also have Illinois Wesleyan and everything, which is Illinois Wesleyan is like one of the more academic private schools in there, and then ISU is like our state school. And so in my town, you'll literally walk through the campus, not even realize it, and then walk out of it.
Oh
dang,
shit,
that's
damn.
tiny.
That's tiny, damn.
Shit.
Fuck. What made you like move out here, AZ?
So a lot of I had family out here. My parents moved out here about like 2-3 years before like I moved, because because of just job switch up stuff, and they wanted to move out here. At that point, I wanted to move out, so I moved out with my peoples for a bit. Went through a whole stuff of crazy stuff, because that was a whole roller coaster and a half.
Yeah, it's a whole chapter on its own and shit. Yeah, definitely, I feel you on that.
I got stories for days running around with them. And so after a while, you know, you just kind of get to a point where you're like, I'm kind of just tired of the repetitiveness. I kind of want something different.
Definitely.
I was kind of getting to a point like since like such a small town, we don't really have like a lot of like jobs prospects outside of like working insurance or something like that. And I was really trying to do all that. And so I'm out here, you know, there's a budgeting huge marijuana scene and like business scene. So when I moved out here, I was like, bet I'll just do that. So I'm like, yo, I'm ready to move. Now my stuff came out here, and then hopped in the industry, and then I've been rocking since that, pretty much.
Yeah, that's dope. I didn't realize it. No, that's crazy though. Like one company really changes like the atmosphere of a whole area and shit. Like think about it. Detroit wasn't Detroit before once a booming industry town for cars. And shit?
It used to be like considered like the auto city, like the auto city of America.
Yeah,
it used to be huge with that until they started like shipping it off out like overseas and stuff. Yeah, and that's like I think it's like even in my town, right? We have you guys are Rivian, right?
Yeah, the electric car.
Yeah, So we've had one in my town for at least like almost 7 years, maybe less around then. But I remember when they first came into our town because we used to have a Mitsubishi's like a factory in our town that like discontinued. So it was just an empty lot for like a decent amount of my life.
Yeah.
And then Rivian came through, and that became like the third big job there. Like I have pretty much all of my friends in some way, shape, or form have been in and out of there or still working there.
That's crazy. I've heard that a lot with a lot of little small towns that have major prisons there, like state prisons. Like the surrounding little town or environment, everyone works there. The economy thrives off of it.
Oh yeah, but like we have so many of those in like the towns out there. Because you'll go through towns where it's like, you'll look at it and go, how are you alive? And then you realize there's like a factory like a mile and a half away or something that's like keeping it alive or something. It's crazy.
Damn, it's crazy. Like, in the same country, it's like a whole nother world, other side of the country and shit.
Oh yeah, no, it's a real shakeup because like I said, I'm from the Midwest, so I'm used to like.
How'd you feel coming down here first though? Was it a culture shock? I mean, not just the heat, the people. I don't know if it's a more interculturally mixed here, or is it kind of dead, or like what was something to adapt to, the slang, or just with things behind new, like all those things.
Oh, I honestly like a little bit mix of everything. Like I have certain slang. I tell my friends, like I'll be like, one of my friends will be like, yo, you good right now? I'll be like, I'm chilling. And they'll be like, what does that mean? And I'll be like, oh shoot. Or be like,
I'm cool.
Or be like, I remember I had a friend of mine ask me, yo, what does shorty mean in your state?
Really?
Yeah, because I'm from, whenever I tell people I'm from Illinois, their immediate assumption is Chicago. As soon as I try to explain where I'm from, they're like, so like Chicago, right? And I'm like, I go, yeah.
Do you ever just say, yeah, Chicago first?
Yeah, sure.
It's gotten to the point where I'm like, yeah. Because I've been there enough times. I got people throughout there. But I've had people ask me like, yo, what does shorty mean and stuff? And I'm like, oh, it's just an overall term. It's like, it's just like first to bro, dude, girl. You just use it for like an overall term to refer to people. That's why you'll hear it and stuff. I'm like, oh, that's crazy and all that. So that was a little different to it. And just the fact that like, if I'm not used to being in an area where I can drive into a place and there be stuff to do so much. I'm used to like the fun things you do. If you're in high school, you go smoke weed in the field somewhere, or at someone's house if you're lucky. I'm not. The first weed smoking spot was some shed we used to park.
Tell us all about it. How did that
go? When I was in like towards like the end of high school. Yeah. Because in high school I didn't really smoke weed too much because I was like, I'm already like barely making it through school. I ain't got time to be like fried all the time. But towards the end of it, I was like, if I got time. So my brody hits me up, and my boy lives like, no joke, like a house or two behind me, and so me and him, he used to smoke me all the time. So he hits me up. He used to hit me up, and be like, "Yo, you trying to go smoke? Yeah, let's go." Hop up in his whip, and then we would drive out of my neighborhood, and where it goes, there's like a little like there's like country roads that way. So we just drive out that way, and there used to be a shed somewhere out there I don't remember anymore where we used to park up by. And we used to just smoking either in the winters in the car. So I'm talking like it's dead of winter, dead field. You hear the wind smacking. You're in a car turned off, trying to huddle together, trying to smoke a blunt, freezing. Like hot summers where you're standing outside and stuff, trying to like smoke weed and not sweat yourself to death. So we did that for like
polar opposite,
like years until I started smoking weed at my best friend John's crib. Shout out to my boy.
Shout out.
And everything. My buddy family kids soon, which is crazy.
Oh dang!
Because me and that man used to just spend every day smoking weed, watching anime for hours a day. So it's crazy. Shout out to my boy.
Definitely.
But once me and my original homie I used to smoke weed with started like distance after high school. Life gets in the way. So I would see him every now and then, but. After that, I would just smoke weed at my homie John's crib all the time, and everything until later, and a few years later, one of my peoples got their own crib, and it was over. At that point, I was over there every day.
A little more grown environment.
Just being an idiot.
I know it sounds kind of dumb. I feel like, but I'm not the only person that said it. Like, Arizona wise, now that it's legal. When I can't believe we were teenagers walking around, it felt like you were walking around with illegal contraband or some shit, or just to meet up with someone, a friend of a friend of a friend. You go on this journey of left and right
just for a little blunt.
Just for a sack, and then like you feel like a criminal walking around with it. I don't know. It's fucking dumb, bro. I mean, okay, no, I don't encourage young teens to do it. You got to be 18 and up, 21 and up. But damn, those were some funny ass times. I can't believe we went through all that shit.
It's crazy to me because like if I went back in time and told the younger me, yo, eventually it's gonna be legalized, and your
Buy it at the
parents,
store.
yeah, like like mom and dad ain't gonna care too much about what you do anymore. That would have been blown my mind because like I came up like in my state, if you got caught with like an eighth, it was locks.
Dang,
it was
really?
locks, dog. I remember hearing stories of people getting caught with like a quad or like an eighth and almost getting the whole book thrown at them.
Gosh.
And stuff. Like they were not playing in my state about that.
That's fucking
and everything.
wild.
Like I still remember the transition from when it got legalized, when they stopped caring so much.
Yeah.
But between that transition was also the time, at least in my town, we used to have it to where the sheriffs weren't allowed to like be in the jurisdiction of the town and like pull people over. But over time, they just stopped caring because since our town's like 2 hours away from Chicago, a lot of that fall off of the gang stuff and the drugs fall off and
Like trickled into your town and shit.
Oh, heavy.
It was like an aftermath and
heavy.
everything.
I knew so many people who would be like, yeah, I'm from like this like south side, this side of Chicago and stuff. And I moved down here because it's just safer and it's just easier,
Quieter.
and like stuff like that. So like a lot. So I still remember when they stopped like getting people for weed. That's around the time when they started like doing like mandatory, like your car was getting searched every time you got pulled over.
Damn.
They had like two. I remember when they went from one cop to 2 cops on you for anything at all.
Oh, bro, I hated that shit, bro. When you get pulled over and there's like one on the left, one on the right.
Yeah, you get pulled up by one, and then another one shows up, and like another one shows up.
Yeah,
Something
it's so
else.
dramatic, bro. And it's like, oh, my aunt just saw
I think
me.
that's only here, bro. I mean,
No, I don't know. I feel like that's everywhere.
oh yeah.
Well, it's true. I don't know.
Kind of. I remember the shift started happening. Too.
You see you saw the dramatic change and shit.
I remember years ago, I was driving to my homie's crib one night. And
Is that here or over there?
back home. This is back in Illinois. I'm driving to my homie's crib, and this cop is like following me, and I get pulled over because I think I didn't like turn my turn light on or something, and so I get out. He's like, I gotta get a search video. I'm like, bet, normal routine. I get out. I know how it goes.
Wasn't worth arguing and shit.
Yeah, because like I said, at a certain point, like I know I have a clean record. I don't have to worry about nothing.
Yeah,
they run my stuff. I'm clean. I ain't gotta worry about nothing. So at that point, it doesn't matter because I'm also smart about what I do. I don't try to leave nothing in my car.
Yeah.
At least I thought. So they search my car. I'm chopping it up with the other officer, just talking football. That's usually my go-to and everything. And then he comes back and goes, okay, yeah, your vehicle is good, but I found this. And he shows me a bullet casing.
Oh shit.
I go, oh no.
Out of everything?
But it's good. But I'm lucky because I remember where it came from. Like, no joke. 2-3 weeks before, I had gone shooting for like the first or second time with a couple of homies from work, because I had this homie who was like had access to everything, could get us in, and so he would take us shooting with him. Yeah, and so he took us shooting and stuff, and I kept one of the rounds and just like left it in my car and forgot. So officer was like, do you know what this is? And I go for like no joke, like 3 seconds, man. I'm like, okay, oh yeah, I went shooting with my buddies. He goes, oh, yeah. So where'd you go shooting? I go, fuck, okay. I go, fuck. I didn't expect the next question, but I hit him back and I remembered there's a place up the way called CI that we went shooting at. So I was like, I went over the CI shooting and all that with my couple buddies like a week or two ago and must have forgot in my car. And he goes, okay, yeah. And we kind of stand there for a minute. The officer looks at the other officer looks at the other guy, and then goes, you can give him his bullet casing back. And the officer goes, oh, here. And hands me it back.
No way.
And I go, thank you.
I guess
and they go, yeah, everything's all good. Have a nice night, sir. And I went, thank you, and drove to my homie's crib and told them the story. And they go, how did that happen? Like, and everything.
Oh, the threw shit out the window as soon as they left.
That's on the first. I had another time.
No, real quick though, I've gone shooting before. I swear, I'll make sure that I have no casings on me. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, my shit's clean and registered, whatever. But like, I just don't want it lounging around in my car.
Yeah.
I swear to you, this shit like trickles everywhere like glitter. Like it'll just be. I've found multiple empty cases before.
I had taken that thing out of my car.
Yeah.
I was like, I could have sworn it was in my room. I remember. Somehow ends up in my car. Couldn't remember. Got like mad lucky. I had another time. We were leaving one of my homies' cribs, and I'm passing by these officers, and they're doing that thing where they're sitting facing 2 different ways, talking through the windows.
Right, yeah.
And as soon as we pass, bro immediately just comes up behind us. I'm like, oh my God. And we had just got done smoking like all day. So we get pulled over. Now, luckily, this is like way past the time where everything's legalized, so we're pretty much okay. So they come up, they do the business, but yeah, you're good for the thing. Yeah. Let me see license, registrations, all that. And he goes, yeah. He goes, so I'm not gonna lie to you. we can smell marijuana in the car. And we go, we know. And he goes, if we,
You wanna
everything's
join us?
cool. If you be honest with us, and my roommate goes, yeah, I got like 2 G's on us. They go, okay. They go, really? They go, yeah. Can we see it? And they go, yeah. We get out. We show them the 2 G's and everything. They go, bet you cool if we search the rest of the vehicle just to make sure? And I go, go ahead, because I know we're good. That's all we really got.
Right.
So they search the vehicle and everything. Everything seems cool and all that stuff. And then they run my stuff. Everything's clean. They come back and goes, okay, guys. Well, yeah, everything's clean. You know, no red flags, no nothing. Y'all seem good. Y'all seem like good people. Been mad cooperative. So I'm gonna give you this back, and hands us the weed bag.
Dang.
And then we all look at each other like,
For real?
what the heck? Okay. And then bro was like, yeah. He goes like, honestly, he goes like, let me ask y'all, is that like some dispo stuff? Is that Reggie? And that's what threw me off. I was like, I have never heard a cop call weed Reggie.
Right.
First of all, like I ain't never heard him. I don't know the business. So we were like, nah. We were like, yeah, it's some dispo, it's some good stuff. Don't worry. Laughing at each other. And then we hop up in the whip and then went back home and went home laughing. We were like, what the heck just happened?
He was like trolling you guys and shit.
Dog, it was crazy.
He's like, with
I don't even
some
know.
Reggie.
That's
Did you ever
Super
smoke Reggie? As a kid?
Did you?
I remember I was like,
Some regular?
Reggie Miller?
has been
Reggie.
high school. My homeboy, my good homie Joseph. I've known this man for like almost like 10, 11 years. That's my boy. He had gotten his hands on some weed, and it was just straight Reggie.
Stems and seeds?
Nah,
Stuff like that? No?
Because Reggie in our state, Reggie can go from like stems or weed, or from like I'm talking like just dirt weed.
Dirt. Oh,
if you're getting
yeah.
like dirt bad weed, it smells terrible, and it just
It's like
doesn't
all
get tried.
shaky and just crumbs.
So he had like a bag of Reggie that he was smoking on.
Bag of Reggie. That even sounds funny.
And
Got a
shit.
bag of Reggie on me, bro. What's up? Pull up to the
What is
party.
it? You get pulled over? Nah, you're good. You know, we don't.
He just doesn't say anything. He just shakes his head.
He's more disappointed on you.
The cop's
Nah.
disappointed
Pull
at you.
over?
Because at the time we were so young, we were just like, bro, there's so much weed, bro. Because it was like a bag.
Yeah.
So you're like, bro, there's so much weed, bro. So I remember, so he had it for like a bit, and then his parents found out. So he had to dump it down the toilet.
Damn.
Yeah, I'd be
And
disappointed
shit.
if I was a dad.
I was hurt because I was hurt. Time I was like, bro, you could just give that to me, knowing damn well I ain't got nowhere to put that shit in my house.
Yo, something like that happened once. I was at a homegirl's house and shit. I'd been to her house a few times, so I met her. I knew her mom and like the siblings and shit. So the mom's asking me like, "Hey, Tino, it's in Spanish." She's like, "Tino, you smoke weed, right?" I'm like, "No," like, because I'm thinking, we're in college, but I'm not gonna be like, "Yeah, what's up?" Like, you're respectful to someone's house. Like, no, of course not. And then she's like, "Hey, dude, he does." And then my homegirl was like, "Yeah, he does." And then I'm like embarrassed. Like, why would you tell her? I'm thinking, you're respectful to your parents and shit.
Yeah.
And the mom's like, "Oh, hey, well, I need you to identify something for me." And I was like, "Wait." And then she comes. I didn't really understand what she said. It didn't click. And she came back up to the living room, the sala, and she shows me it. And she's like, "What is this?" And it was like a blunt roped up in a napkin. And then she wanted to just confirm, like, is this weed? And then I was like touching it, but it was like so old and like dusty and cracky, like disintegrated. And I was like,
Yeah, it was like all dehydrated.
Yeah,
nothing in it. You're gonna light it up and it's gonna blow up in your hand.
yeah. But I was like so tripped out by it, like, and then maybe her asking me that, I was like in my head, I was like, is this what's that shit called?
Spice?
Regular?
Yeah, spice. That.
Oh, spice.
Spice. Yeah. And I was like, but then
That too.
Reggie too. In my back of my head though, I was like, this is some bunk, man. Like, I don't know what to tell you. That your son's smoking weed or you got finessed. Like, what is
I
this?
can't tell.
Yeah, I don't know where to tell you first. But in my head, and I was like, oh, yeah, it looks like it. It's just, like, super weird. Like, it's just, And then I started touching the next one, but the first one disintegrated, like, the blunt.
Immediately.
Yeah, and then she's like, don't touch the next one because I guess that's her evidence. And then I asked her, low-key, is it your son's, the other son?
Mm-hmm.
She was like, no. And I was like, I don't know. But at the time, though, they had not putting their business out there, they had a friend crashing out there, like a girl. That she wasn't their daughter, but she was like a friend staying. I don't know if it was hers or the son's. But either way, that was a weird engagement. And I was just, I don't know. And then I remember, too, respectfully, to Shorty's mom and shit, she did like, what they call in Spanish, like brujeria. Like, not type shit. She was like a good witch, what they call like a good witch person. She talks to spirits and stuff like that. She read my palm once, and me personally, I'm against that stuff. But I don't know. I guess the part of me was just like, I didn't want to be rude to her. So she already started.
Like, you just like went with it.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, whatever. And then she told me to pick out these 3 rocks from a bag, and then she identified what each of them meant. And I remember at the time, I don't remember. I remember there's 3 of them. I only remember like 2 of them. One of them said that the path that you're on, you might feel discouraged, but you need to keep going. And then the second one said there's 2 spirits, good spirits that are following you. It could be family or friends or whatever. And then the third one, I don't remember. And then I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I just interpreted it as like, well, I don't really believe in this. I believe what I believe, but I just don't I don't really rock with the way you do it. So it's cool and respectful. But I didn't see anything say that. So I was just listening. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I just left it at that. But I remember what she said, though, too, though. Like, she said that the path that you're on, you might feel discouraged, but you need to keep going. And at that time, I was like, I think I was when I first started working at that clothing store and shit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was getting my clothes, like, I just on clothes and stuff. I was getting it sold in the stores and stuff. And it was just like, it was a new beginning for me and shit. And I remember getting shut down and, like, all this stuff left and right. And it was crazy. Shit lined up. But yeah, that was some bunk weed, man.
Yeah, you're telling me.
Some bunk weed that lady had.
Nah, I'm about to I've had a few situations like that because I actually like a month ago or so, my grandma came downstairs, just hands me the phone, and it's my aunt. She goes, Cameron, and I go, yeah, what's up? She goes, what's that? What's those drugs people do recreationally? And I start going like, okay, opiates, Xanax. I started going through them, and she's like, no. And I go like, what are you trying to figure out? And she's like, I don't know. It's just drug I heard on the news. And so I just be like, are you talking about fent? And she's like, no. And I'm like, I can't tell you, Brody. Like, that's the most I can give you. I don't know. She's like, it's okay. Because at this point, now that I'm old enough, I've opened up about like the stuff I used to do and the stuff I've seen.
Yeah, because you're grown now. You're
stuff like, so now everyone in the family comes to me asking questions about like that kind of stuff.
You're the expert.
Because I can at least give you an idea of it and then tell you why you shouldn't do it.
Yeah, and
everything. Because like I said, I've almost seen it all at this point.
Yeah,
and everything. So. It was just such a funny change to how I used to be because because when you're younger you just try to keep your stuff on the down low and everything and all that stuff, so like it's just crazy how like how that time and stuff changes on top of that. But I will say funny you mentioned the wish thing and the kind of like occult stuff because I remember I used to have this homegirl I used to be really good close friends with. She used to love Ouija boards.
Oh hell no.
And I used to
do you believe in stuff like that or anything like that?
Whatever, like you feel comfortable expressing.
For me, I do believe to an extent there are ghosts. There is energy and all that stuff, and I do believe places can hold that and everything. So to an extent, I believe it to a certain extent, or at least I'm more open minded to it. Depending across the board what it is, but I remember she used to try to get me to do that, and I used to tell her all the time, I'm like, bro, I don't open doors I can't close. Damn. That's it. You don't open doors you can't close because that's all you're doing.
Yeah.
You're going to open a door that you're not going to be able to close quick enough or successfully enough to not stop something and everything. So like I said, I'm going to keep my hands away from it. Like I said,
have you seen her do it, or she just told you she fuck with it?
A few times. I've seen it sometimes. Other times, I'd be like, I'm not getting near that gang. That's all you shorty.
Stay away from that, man.
I ain't got time for all that.
Yeah, man.
Like I said, because I remember, because like. I like a lot of remember ghost experience I remember having was years ago. I used to tell this story to a bunch of the kids in my neighborhood, and I used to call it was called Larry Fishman. And I used to tell these kids a story, be a story about we used to have a creek in our neighborhood. They used to run down and like have like a whole creek area we could fish and stuff.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like so some of the houses had like waterfront property for that creek. And so I tell this story that there was this man in the neighborhood called Larry Fishman, and he went out there fishing one day in a storm, and he was fishing all that stuff, and then the boat flipped, and he drowned in the creek. And so now his ghost wanders the neighborhood. Jump maybe like a year or two later, I come home one night, and I went outside to go grab something back in my car because I forgot something.
Yeah.
And I see this old dude just like power walking, down the road, and I'm like, okay, whatever. So I'm just looking at him. He looks at me. All I see is 2 very, very beaming red eyes stare at me. And I go, well. And I turned around and went inside. And I went back to my car, grabbed whatever I went, looked back up. He has gone from where my mailbox was, which I'm standing here. The mailbox is here. He went from here to now he's in the cul-de-sac at the end of my neighborhood. In that time,
it took you to walk from the mailbox to the car?
No, to the time I turned around and stopped looking at him. Like I turned, grabbed something, turned back around. He was at the end of the cul-de-sac.
Holy shit, like a distance.
And then just walked, and then just kept walking, and I never saw him again.
Wait. So you made eye contact with him, and he had crazy eyes?
Yeah, like beaming red eyes. Just like looked at me, and I went, okay, that's a little weird. I think I'm seeing things, or maybe I'm just tweaking, hopefully. And I turn around, turn back around, I still see him. He's at the cul-de-sac. He just walks into it. Because where the cul-de-sac is, the only way to get out, it's like through the side parts of the houses, which like there's no sidewalk. It's just like grass where you walk to the creek. So he just keeps walking. I just go, whatever, bro, and went inside.
Shit,
and I never saw that dude
Wait,
again.
you've never seen him like around?
Nope.
That's all, you've only seen him once, and that's it.
Once, never. I had never seen him in the neighborhood. Never saw him again in the neighborhood. And like I was like decently around my neighborhood because like I said, you know. I grew up at that time when you were still going outside all the time. So like I said, I knew at least seeing a decent amount of people in my neighborhood, or at least throughout it. And he looked like no one I had known in the neighborhood, and I never saw him again.
That is crazy. That is wild.
All right, man. Let's get into more into you. What you're into and what you do, because
I'm about to say, my biggest passion is fashion.
Fashion.
Ain't meant to me that rhyme, but
Fashion. Yeah.
But like, real life, that's like one of my biggest passions. I got into it around. I don't know what I'm saying. I've been into it since like high school.
Yeah.
But in high school, I didn't. Angsty teen. I don't really care how I look. It's whatever, bro. So I'm just throwing on whatever. The most I was doing was like cashing out at Zoomies every like 2 to 3 years because I didn't buy clothes all that much. But then around like 2019, 2020 is when I really started like kind of trying to figure out my style.
Definitely.
And that's when I got into like the Instagram fashion scene and like all the brands in there. Because when I was really getting into it, I was big on supporting small brands.
Yeah.
Right.
Up and comers, people like medium sized like collectives and stuff like that, because that's where the real passion is. And I think that's still where the real passion is. Even though sadly nowadays my biggest gripe with the game is y'all ever heard of the pre-order scam?
Oh yeah. The brands, small brands, will have like this whole thing where they're promoting the hell out of this dope like product, and they do pre-orders and then they'll drop it. Whether they there's a couple ways to go about it. They either fundraise it and then drop it, and then you gotta wait another 4-6 weeks, and it's like people feel like by the time they get it, it's not the quality, or they're just over it, or they fundraise and you never see anything.
But is it like ads on Instagram you see them? Because I see a bunch of those where like you see, it's a nice shirt, hoodie.
Essentially, it's broken out like this. You're a new brand,
right?
You you find your manufacturer. You make your piece, find your manufacturer. You get your sample. You take a bunch of pictures of your sample and you upload them to Instagram to your page, and you start doing ads.
Right.
Push it. The hope is that you get a bunch of traction, and then you do pre-orders. Through those pre-orders, you stack up a bunch of money, and then usually what happens, or it should happen, is that 4 to 8 weeks later, you get your product. Hopefully, it's still in the same conditioning that look like it, or whatever the manufacturer's good. But what a lot of the point has been happening now, and I'm sure if you ask anyone who buys stuff offline, they've had this happen with small brands. Nothing shows up,
right? Yeah.
Because either the brand runs off with the money, they spend all the money, or they fumble their manufacturer, and then it just takes too long.
Yeah, or it's just bad management that they never really got to it and stuff like that.
They never thought ahead, because like I said, a lot of the biggest thing I've seen that's tainted a lot of like different industries and different like collectives and communities, like especially like from like clothing to music to just gaming and all that stuff, is just like collectiveness of trying to get as much money as possible. And so a problem becomes is that a lot of these small brands just want to be the next big poppin' story. They want to flex the Trackhawk. They want to flex the Louis, flex the Supreme.
Yo, you seen those memes where it's like, I've been wanting to make my package, but the brand owner is waiting to have a bundle, take a picture of a bundle of orders on the ground.
Lay on my package and step on my pants and stuff. Exactly, like all that.
Just
like,
to say, hey, I did this for the night.
And all that stuff. So a large, so I've been burned so many times in the last few years. Like,
it's frustrating. Have you ever actually tried to dispute it or hit them up or anything, or you just take that out?
So one of my biggest gripe brands, and I'm warning everybody: Ghost Supply.
Ghost Supply.
Do not buy from Ghost Supply.
Okay.
I'm being 100% serious. I'm still waiting for like 4 or 5 items that are like from like almost 4 years ago.
No way, really?
I have emailed. I have DM'd.
Talking pandemic.
Like, yes.
Pandemic times?
Like, I've tried to get in contact with him a lot, which is funny because when I first got into him, I've been in contact with him a few times, just like small conversations, but I've been in contact.
Support.
Heck, I used to be really good friends with one of his artists before he quit. Before he quit and started doing his own thing. So I used to be like really tapped into the community, at least to an extent that at least in my eyes.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
It really hurt when he just kind of switched up and stopped, and his shipping went bad. He just stopped fulfilling stuff, and even now, in his like Discord he runs, they're just constant messages of people talking about I've been waiting for 2, 3, 4, 5 like years trying to get stuff. I ain't heard anything, and then even people still who bought stuff in the last 2 years. Some haven't even gotten anything.
Do you think anyone ever gets anything, or is it a scam?
I'm gonna be real. I don't want to like be like step on anyone's business or something, but like to me it feels more like a scam because I have really not seen anyone really get anything.
Yeah.
I haven't seen pictures of people wearing Ghost Supply since like I want to say like 2021.
Dude, that's so frustrating because like how do these brands do it? I don't know if the finessing ones, the actual scamming ones, the ones that intend to scam and their whole plot is that because it's frustrating because like they must have fake accounts and all this stuff to make it happen. And in one sense, like, bro, you got that much clout. You can actually take something off and start something new. Whether it's like, hey, they stole some photos or they made a design they never decided to drop, which is crazy on its own. Imagine making something that's fire, but you never intend to sell it.
Yeah.
And you actually promote it and you actually get money coming in. But the other thing, what I'm trying to say is, it's just frustrating, bro, because, bro, this one, I don't know how they do that, and I'm over here not shipping out a Depop order, and I get fucking banned.
Yeah.
Like, or they fucking backtrack the money, yoink. Like,
it's so crazy because like Ghost Supply, like I will say, like his thing, like I've been in it for a minute. I got into him in like 2020, 2021. He used to ship. Like very quickly, I have like 15 hoodies of his.
Shit.
I have
Yeah,
multiple shirts. I have pants. I was repping it
So
heavy.
they were legit, like a legit.
It was a legit thing, and then he went through some personal stuff, which I completely get. But like he just like he went on hiatus for like 3 months and then came back, and it was a back order ever since. And like the first few years, I get it, you know, back order stuff, but it just went to a point where like it just like he just like moved on to new things, which like bothered me and all that stuff.
he's like, oh yeah, that brand.
And like
That's in the past.
like he's still producing stuff. But it's like that thing. I see him post pieces, but I don't see anyone who has them.
Yeah.
Same thing with another brand. I own a bunch of Babesters. One of my favorite shoes of all time.
yeah.
Like I used to grow up when I was growing up. I wanted the pair so bad. I got like 8 pairs now. But it was Indigo Studios and stuff. I used to love this brand. You know, he made a lot of really cool designs because he would take like hypewear shoe designs and then make them Babester style. Like I got a pair of the Travis Scott bandanas, Babester style.
Right.
I got a pair of the Travis Scott PlayStation Babester styles. I got a pair of black off-white one Babester styles. And so I used to be like, fuck with this dude heavy. And then the more I started buying from him, the more and more and more the shipping took longer. And then to the point, like I remember me and my homeboy had like copped at the same time. It took like I think almost an entire year for me to get my hands on those shoes.
Oh hell no, dude.
And that was the last time I bought from him. And like same thing. Going to his Discord, there are people talking about, bro, I bought like 12 pairs. Why haven't you shipped?
Yeah.
Bro, I bought blah 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 blah. Like it gets to a certain point where like it bothers me as someone who eventually wants to start their own brand and do their own thing. It's real discouraging to see that I have to be in a sea of people who don't take it seriously, and don't seem like they have it together. So it makes the rest of us look bad.
Do you think that they lose their fire, like their love for it?
I see it the same way as like how when a rapper gets signed, their music gets worse.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know, so the decline just goes crash, and they come up, they're really good because again. It's why I like small brands. It's that hunger. It's that come up. That come up makes you work hard. It makes you want to be the next best one. And I think once you make it, you do kind of lose that hunger. You do kind of lose that
seen that with
spark.
certain people. Yeah.
You know, you've seen it with up and comer designers or artists who are like, you know, making a wave, making their sound, and then they get like signed, and they put on they make it, and then they just start making trendy brand stuff,
right?
Or trendy like, sound stuff.
Music artists and stuff when they start to get that degree or they're borderline about to get signed, they just start making shit for the. I hate to say it, Dro. You know what I'm gonna say? Like people like Kid Ink let us all down. I hate to say it, I was the biggest Kid Ink fan, and then he just fell off trying to. He worked so hard and he was so original, and at the time he was just shining. And if you knew, you knew. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I feel like, in my opinion, he was just trying a little too hard to be the mainstream. That he forced it, or maybe there was obviously probably behind the scenes entities pushing it in. But yeah, ultimately that was his demise in my eyes.
I have a deeper cut for you. Y'all remember? What was it? He's from. He was in Members Only. He was the Asian kid.
Kid Trunks?
Yes.
Dude, what the hell? His shenanigans are crazy.
You remember?
Bro. Is he the clone guy?
Yeah, you remember? No, that was Kid Boo.
That's Kid Boo.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Kid
But you
Boo's-
probably seen this Kid Trunks. He was a Members Only, which was known as a
Quick rundown. Kid Trunks came up with Members Only. Was like got really popping around the time when like X was like really really up there, especially after Members Only 3 was making a big wave. Was about to make a big wave. X dies. His wave kind of starts slowly crashing down.
The whole group starts crumbling.
Yeah.
I mean, like literally, everyone starts about Bass Santana,
respectfully.
Bass Santana, Tankhead, Craig Zan, Danny Towers, Ski Mask, Wi-Fi. all them.
I don't know. I forgot Wi-Fi was a part of it.
Now to be fair, Wi-Fi technically
So
was.
shit.
Wi-Fi had Rich Life, which was his own thing. He was still a part of members only, but as X got bigger and as he made his own thing, they kind of distanced. As in, Wi-Fi wanted to do his own thing. Same thing with like how Rob Banks. Technically, Rob Banks was still in members only.
Damn,
but Rob Banks,
solid collective.
dog, they used to have pretty much everybody down there.
Yeah.
Like remember Cooley Cut?
Nah, it was
Cooley Cut, like that's a deep cut because Cooley Cut got signed towards like the middle end half of like the members only out of nowhere because X heard him, made a few songs and messed with them and all that. But like, yeah, Kid Trunks was like really, it's making sort of way. He dropped like two really good songs that I thought of mine were like still really good at the time, and then he had that fake cancer scare.
Yeah, he faked. He told people he made this whole shenanigan, and he had clips of him in the hospital. Maybe he was in the hospital for something else, but he ran with this whole thing, like how you said, when his clout or his attention was like slimmering down. Supposedly he had cancer, like and then.
And you want to know what that was actually about? Because he was withdrawing from opiates because he had a serious perk and lean addiction at the time. So he was in the hospital for that and started trying to scam off that he had cancer. When that didn't play out, he then said he got shot in the face like a year or something later,
right,
and everything. And then he had to come out and be like, okay, guys, like I was lying. I really apologize for that. I messed up. And that's when I stopped paying attention. I was like...
Yeah, he ultimately gave the final blow to his career, man.
And it's just... Because, again, like the worst drug, like, worst drug ever is clout. Think about it.
Clout?
Clout is the worst drug ever. Think about it.
Especially overnight kind of thing.
Yeah.
For some people.
How many people have you seen get a little bit of, like, clout, a little bit of recognition, and then just start losing it and go downhill?
Everyone does.
Like,
a lot of people do.
It really is an addiction. A good example, that dude Johnny Somali, who's locked up in Korea. Clout brain. Wakes up, I'm going to go out and I'm going to go dance all over the Comfort Women statues and make fun of a historical tragedy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go run around and yell that like Japan's coming back to get you and stuff and all that stuff. Or I'm gonna be in Japan yelling Nagasaki, Hiroshima, and all this stuff like that. Like that's clout brain.
True.
That your brain's just going, what's the most like crazy out of pocket thing?
Like how can I just keep upping it? How can I get the most traction numbers? They're not even thinking positive and negative. They're just thinking numbers and reactions
and all that. And like I don't like to an extent I get it. Content brand. You always gotta be thinking about like I feel like because of how the internet has changed how we seen it. Because remember like back in the day when we came up on the internet, when you see people doing that, you would go, well, I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna be that guy.
Was that one guy Boonk or?
Oh my god,
that dude!
He did a whole 360
like that, right?
Or like
Johnny,
I guess Johnny Gabbana now, and all that. Like, yeah, that's another perfect example of the whole like clout. The clout brain was really coming up. Like, remember Supreme Patty?
Yeah.
Like clout brain and all that. Daddy Long Neck and all.
Oh
that.
yeah. That dude, shit. Back to Supreme Patty. If I could be wrong, didn't he put like hot sauce in his
or lemons?
He did lemon, hot sauce, limes, all that. He did all that stuff. Like pretty much anything he would just put in his eyes.
That's crazy.
And like that was his gimmick essentially at the time. And all that stuff. And like to be real, a lot of that is because of the 2010s Instagram era, where like you got famous for just saying something crazy. Your Little Tays, your Daniel Briolis, and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, you remember Little Tay?
Her favorite example too. She had that whole like when she was coming back, there was a whole death hoax that happened where it came out where like her and her brother had died in like a jet ski accident,
something like that. Yeah.
And then she came out being like, "I'm not dead." What?
Oh yeah.
And then later came out and said, "Yeah, that was all a hoax. We made it up just to get some recognition."
Fucking awful. Remember at the last I remember it because she came back a little bit, but she's grown now. Does a different image of thing. I think she was pursuing music.
She somewhat does it still. From what I see now, she's a streamer now.
Yeah, but Lil Tay, as we remember and shit. Remember she was like always screaming like, "I'm richer than you. I'm richer than that." And then like
Lil Tay, youngest flexer alive. Get your money up.
Wasn't her mom like a realtor?
Yeah, and then she got her mom fired. That's what I remember. Ultimately, she got her mom fired, and it's like a picture of her mom looking professional as hell.
No, her mom, because the whole thing was that her and her brother had basically came up with this entire scheme. Her brother would write the scripts and have her say all that stuff, and her mother would provide the car because that.
Oh shit!
Because remember that car she kicks the dent in?
Yeah,
that was her boss's.
Oh shit!
That remember that penthouse where she was like, this toilet costs more than your mom's rent.
Yeah,
yeah. That was one of the real estate everything she was selling, the houses, everything, all that stuff were different like houses she was trying to sell that she would use for the background for Lil Tay's stuff. And then when her job found out, they immediately fired her and hit her with a bunch of lawsuits and stuff. And then there was a whole fallout between her and her dad and all that stuff and all that like massive fallout that came with that. And then they disappeared, then came back, and now she's like does music a little bit, and then I've seen her stream with that Rakai kid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I get you.
so
stuff like
shit. Yeah, no, I agree with you completely. Clout is a drug.
Do you think, isn't like pretty much streaming nowadays clout? Like not the
different
way of it.
Well, I think clout's changed because I remember the clout I remember when it started happening was in like high school. So clout was just like you get like more than like 2,000 followers on Instagram, you got some clout, or you get like a bunch of followers in like Vine or Twitter or something, you got clout.
Right.
And clout nowadays is just kind of changed into like it can be a mixture of things. It could be actual pure talent. It could be good personality like a streamer, a YouTuber, or it could be
A TikTok.
Yeah, or it could be like I'm a prank YouTuber. I'm gonna go walk up to people and play this random noise on my phone and then
assault them.
And then bam, you get shot like that one guy.
Oh right.
Oh, at the mall. Which one?
Yeah, the dude at the mall. They kept walking around, playing the thing at the dude's face, and then bro shot him.
I haven't last updated with that, but I really hope his charges got dropped.
Last time I heard, he actually got charged for something else.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Because he got in trouble with another prank he was doing and stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean the guy that shot the prankster.
Oh, that
guy?
dude. I think he got like
he got in trouble for it. It wasn't. It was they. If I remember right, they said okay, cool, it was self-defense, but he got in trouble for having a firearm.
Yeah, for firearm and discharging in a public area. I think he got like
inside a mall, right?
Yeah,
because that dude was like hella all up in his space and shit.
Yeah.
I think he got between like 8 or like 10 years
Like
or
a
something.
chunk,
Like
yeah.
they get him a decent grip on that one, low key.
Yeah.
Which I felt kind of bad. I was like, bro, he's getting harassed. Like I get he's shot in a closed area. That was kind of crazy though. But like, come on, bro, he's getting harassed. But
And then the fucking prankster, whatever, ended up on YouTube, and then they straight up said, "Yeah, I'll do it again."
yeah, and then he did, and I got in
I
trouble for something else. Or like, Jack Doherty.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Perfect example of clout brain. This kid has been getting away with that stuff for years. Because I was put on the scene about him back in like towards the end of the 2010s when he used to do prank videos in his neighborhood and getting in Walmart because he's banned from like a bunch of Walmarts in Florida for like harassing people, doing stupid prank videos. And then I stopped paying attention for a while because I was like, I ain't trying to hear all this, dog. You're annoying. And then like next thing I know, he's a Twitch streamer / like manager for like OF models that he's managing and all this stuff. But then like also now half of them have left and he has no money and like he owes a bunch of money to like exotic car dealers and stuff like that, like a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm just like,
too fast.
It's a lot of flexing just for all that, you know.
It just doesn't make any sense. And it's just like, dog, you got to think about your actual future. The money isn't gonna come in forever. There is a stopping point.
And then it's the thing that you see multiple people go through those ups and downs. You would think they would be like, all right, fuck, there's a good likelihood I might fall off, so let me manage right. Let me nourish this business.
You would think,
or and be wise with my money or whatever. Even if they're flexing on camera, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and like you actually do like Markiplier, PewDiePie, Jackson, YouTubers like that. People who have done a good job. One of my favorites, Philip DeFranco, a news guy. I've been watching him since I was like middle school to now, and I watched him make a business out of that. So there are smart people making business stuff out there, but I find that more and more because of this. Because we're making younger people more famous and stuff like that. Like Netspin.
Oh yeah.
Like
the music artist.
Like how was I was like a 15, 16-year-old blowing up in like a year.
Fire ass beats.
Yeah, I guess. There's like 3
I fucked with it, but then like after a while, I fucked with it when I first heard it. But after a while, I don't know if it's a clearer state of mind, but when I heard the song again, I was like, yo, it's really just the beat. Personally, I'm not really fucking with the shit.
It's the beat. It's one of the biggest things because
like he's saucing on the beat, but when you really dive in, it's not just how some
he's
people,
not saying anything.
Yeah, exactly. The lyricism isn't like striking because you can be so like fluent, like say on some lyrical shit, or like so minimal that it's hidden, but you realize it's not really in that gray area.
You can be a Big Sean, but you can also be a Lil Uzi, where you're not saying shit, but it still sounds amazing.
Yeah,
and so that's where I can't find the middle ground because like a good example is that song that Nothing of You or whatever, the song the one with the okay beat that goes din 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 din, and like literally halfway through he stops rapping and just says slat truck, and I'm like
second verse type shit where people don't really listen to it anymore. Like,
I'm like, did you run out of things to say halfway through the song? Like you're losing the flow at least 3 to 4 times and stuff like that. I'm like, is this really what people want nowadays?
Yeah, and it's like one of the things like, bro, was this a freestyle and you guys just ran with it and one take only?
It was like I can get it. Like again, like I said, I used to do music heavy. Like I am a product of the 2010 SoundCloud era.
Fire music, by the way.
Appreciate it. Like I've been doing the. I used to do that shit like heavy and stuff. So like I remember because like when I was coming up from like 2014 into the blow up of 2015, 2016, I listened to all those artists blow up. Yeah. I remember being like, yo, XXXTentacion is the next one, and people being like, who? Yo, Ski Master Slump God really changing it. Who? Like people didn't know.
Yeah.
And so. I remember I've watched the slow gain of it, but like at least for me, what got me out the game was a mixture of just because I came up with a bunch of people that I used to do music make. Two of them have sadly passed over the years. May they rest. Shout out Jody. Shout out Dolan. So I've just lost the passion over the years for doing it, but like it's also because I watched the game go from it really was somewhat of like. Anyone could do it in your room if you did with just some time and putting into it and stuff like that too. Now we're just making anyone like who has like a decent sounding song.
Yeah, and then like that's the thing though too. I think with anything, with clothing, like with the music or something, I'm a firm believer, and you guys can see it too. Like if they just put it on that pedestal and platform and repeat it in your face enough, eventually people will like it.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, and like I said, the way has changed for how we view things now. We're spanned about stuff because like I remember coming up in the days of like your Pyrax or something.
Oh shit! Shout out Virgil, R.I.P. Virgil.
All that stuff. I still remember when Ian Connor was still popping, even though fuck Ian Connor. I don't know. You were a terrible person and you were the laziest designer I've ever seen.
Bro, he wasn't even a designer. I'm sorry.
Let's be real.
Yeah, I mean he did his thing as a stylist in pop culture, and then shout out to. I mean, I applaud you, and that's what's up when you did your thing. But then ultimately, when like things came out with astounding evidence, not just one person, I'm sorry, I couldn't condone it. Right. And then in my personal opinion, real quick, is just the way he went about it, addressing about it. It was like, okay, yeah, no, fuck that.
No, you showed your hand, and like I understand, like tapped in the same event. I've always known Ian Connor was a bad person. I remember hearing the stories when it was coming up, being like,
and it's not just one thing. It's not just
it's multiple things. It's not
multiple.
It's not just the allegations. It's the laziness from how the revenge storms. Right. You made a pair of Vans with a shock on the side and on the bottom.
Oh yeah.
Congratulations. You want a cookie? Because I'm gonna be real with you. Like that was cool when I was in like high school. I'm not joking. I graduated, looked at them again, and went, "These are the worst things I've ever seen."
Yeah.
Like.
So I'm telling you, the clout. Just put it on that clout,
and that's what a lot of it is. It's the same thing. Like for me, for how I view it now with everything and all that stuff. So like, it's the same thing. Like I said for music, like I said, for like the two between the two, because like for the fashion stuff, I'll break that down a different way. But for music, like I said, when I came up, I remember doing music with my homies, doing all that stuff when it could be a game, watching it turn into anyone's kind of doing it now. It used to be I remember it used to be a talent when I told people I could rap. Now it was just
applaud different.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now it's just okay. Cool. What do you also sports gamble? And is that anything else, buddy? It's like it's not cool anymore. So like it's a lot of oversaturation and stuff and like that. And don't get me wrong, you still find good shit nowadays. Shout out Captain Swag. That's a great artist that's coming. That I've really been fucking with for a minute. Shout out Lilo, up and comer, really making a name for himself and all that. Shout out Two Zips, really small dude, but I really like fuck with the stuff heavy because he's really. Really putting the work in, stuff
definitely.
like that. So there's still good artists out there that are still
doing the work. They got that passion in it. Yeah.
And all that stuff.
Then, even if it's not your cup of tea, you can sense the drive and the love for it. And then there's just things you can break down the sauce and the science. And then scientific, like I don't mean scientifically, like there's sciences and numbers. Yeah. Like they're just flowing on it. It just makes sense. They're a part of it.
Yeah, there is a gradual up and down flow of it. You know where it's gonna go, where it kind of goes from, and all that stuff. And I do still think there's still great stuff being made. Same thing with like fashion. Like the game has so much changed from when I was
saturated.
That too, and everything. But like I'm like I said, if you look for it, you will find it. Like I've gotten off of the messing with small brands. Right. I've been burned too many times at this point. I still mess with them. Like shout out Void. really good artists. This is my man's. Like Dog does amazing anime designs, mixed it with streetwear. Does it pretty much himself and his grandpa.
Sick.
Oh shit, no way, for real?
Yes, be put in that work. I'm talking from like
an
hats to
interesting dynamic.
pants, shirts, scarves, bags. Does it all. I've been messing with him for years. I own like 15 pairs of his stuff. Always comes in clutch. You know, it's like there's still great stuff out there, but I know for me personally, I've fallen back into like I'm a Depop demon right now. I've
Finding
been
them grails in there, bro.
I just caught me a pair of these nice Ed Hardys that
Yeah.
I've been
Right,
eyeing
right.
up. and
You know,
stuff,
my
so,
favorite is when you go deep in the searches, and I find a seller that's like not a part of the demographic or just posting it to post it. It's like, score. I'm gonna lowball the fuck out of you. Or I
Yep.
see that, hey, it's been up for 4, 6, 8 weeks or updated, routinely trying to sit. All right, swoop in with another offer.
Like
Yeah, I
it's
just love that shit. The game's different. Oh, but it also too. I don't know if you fuck with it a lot, Joe.
Or-
Like depending on what's the mood for, I'll go for eBay or I'll go to Depop. It's just different moods and shit. Like if I really was running for something specific, I might go to Poshmark. Which
What
is
about
really
Grail?
Yeah.
Grailed, Grailed. I
Nah.
feel like Grailed. If I want to spend more money or find something more niche,
Yeah.
but sometimes, side note, in my opinion, with Grailed though, since it's mostly dudes, you can sometimes find like a bag that you can make unisex or a bag for your shorty or some shit,
Yep.
and dudes will sell it cheaper.
Yep.
Or
Okay.
I kind of hate it that it'll be like a good price and then shipping's $50. Like,
Oh
you
my
bastard!
God.
that-
Why didn't you include
know-
it in the price?
On Depot, I will do that. I was like, oh, that's a sick shirt, like $7. All right, cool. I'll fucking let's get it. And then what? Like,
Tax.
yeah,
that,
then,
that protection thing.
yeah.
Sales
Like,
tax, all
fuck that. I don't
stuff.
want it anymore.
And all that stuff. Yeah, it's like yeah. I
This
like
seller's
Grail.
inactive.
Yeah, because I like Grail more for like specific stuff like
Right.
like this Vivian one.
Fire.
I got on Grail specifically. Now
And they have good protection on Grail.
yeah, and like the sellers are like really good verified. So if I'm looking for something like specific, like a specific like brand, I'll go to Grail. Like I'm huge on FTP, as you can see.
Yeah.
Shout out
Fire.
Zach, one
Fire.
of my biggest inspirations of all time.
Dude, he's been doing this thing for a minute.
Dog,
Fire.
only gotten better.
OG.
And everything really like painted the road for how like streetwear brands should
Right.
follow it and how small brands can stay independent and do their thing.
definitely.
And so whenever I'm looking for his stuff off resale, I go to Grail because you can usually find it pretty quickly. Now the prices are pretty crazy, which is why I'm not on there very much because on
Right.
Depop, you know, you play that game, you wait a few months. I'm trying to get a G59 ring because the Suicide Boys label,
Yeah, definitely.
and everything they dropped a Super Bowl inspired ring I've been trying to get,
Sick.
and I ain't trying to pay no 200 something for no ring that's retailed at 60. So I'm playing the game out there, but that's what the fun of it is now.
Yeah.
Instead of finding the new small brand that I think might be the next thing, I'm finding that piece that I've been trying to get in the collection for a while and stuff.
Oh, okay, I feel that.
And all that because like, I recently got you remember those old school bake polos?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't zip up.
No,
No, the polo, like
the-
polo
the-
colors.
Polos. My
Yeah,
bad.
the polo-
Right.
Just I copied one of the old school dark green ones from like 07.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Like,
That's
it's
right.
Is that the one I saw you with the last
Yeah,
time? Oh, that's
yeah.
crispy, bro. That's a crispy condition.
Yes, I got that for like 90 something.
I thought that was a new school piece.
Nah,
Dude, that is a crispy
from,
condition.
from some vintage seller out in Cali.
Hell yeah.
That off Depop, I got that for like a decent price. So that's been my big step
Mm-hmm.
with fashion now and everything, and just I've also got really big into the those pants with like the back pocket works, like your Coogis, your
Oh,
Ed
yeah, yeah.
Hardys, all that,
Right,
the Vizus, all that stuff.
Fire.
I'm getting really big into that. Nowadays because like that's my big thing. I love pants that are loud. I love clothes that are loud.
Definitely.
I don't like the normally core basic stuff. Like
Right.
if it doesn't, to an extent, if it doesn't have a branding on it that isn't popping something or isn't something unique to me, I ain't really messing with it.
Yeah, it's just your cup of tea right now. You feeling it? Yeah.
And all that because that like I said.
Do you have any simple like plain clothes? Like, do you
Nah.
how often? What's the likelihood
Nah.
I'm gonna see you rock a plain
Not,
tee?
not gonna lie, looking at you, how you dress, and how I saw you last time, I can see how your closet would lay out right
Yeah,
now.
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
energy.
Compared to mine, I'll be like, oh damn, this guy.
that thing touched wall to wall. I ain't even joking with you. And
yeah.
and I'm gonna be with you. I don't think I do. Like my normal clothes are like old Zoomy pieces from
Oh,
like
shit.
back in high school. I still have.
Yeah.
And I only pull those out if I have to.
Is that more house clothes like or gym clothes at that point?
Nah, because like real talk, I'll dress like this at home.
Yeah.
Right.
Or I just
Oh,
won't,
shit.
or I just won't. If I'm at home not doing nothing, I'll just throw on a pair of shorts and kind of
Yeah.
rock it. But like if I get up and get dressed, I'm getting dressed because like
Yeah,
I said,
hell yeah.
I'm a
I love it.
I'm a big provider of wear your clothes.
Definitely.
I really hate the fact that people buy pieces and they let it sit in their closet.
I'm
Or like
have to say
seasonal
I'm
pieces,
culprit of
stuff
that.
like that. seasonal type shit.
Not to the extent, or like one-time use, or like I get buying grail pieces.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, put up grail pieces are great. I got a vintage old school NFL Philadelphia Eagles jacket that hangs on my wall. I got an old school foul play jacket from one of my
yeah, you know they're from here.
Foul play?
Yeah, they're from St. P.
Oh, actually, I do know that because funny enough. So shout out to my dead homie Jake. He used to actually work with used to work with one of the artists for them way back in the day.
Yeah.
In the middle to like the early to middle 2010s when he used to be way more because him and my other dead homie Tommy may they rest both like internet kids, so they were really big in the internet. So like Jake used to do a bunch of like Photoshop, like work for stuff. So I remember,
right.
so I've known it. That's how I also got introduced to clothing through them, and that's how I found out about Tsukami, another really good brand I really like, and stuff like that, and so it's stuff like I got pieces like that. You know, I get put up pieces, but I think if you're gonna buy clothes, you should wear them.
Definitely.
Yeah.
If you're going to, I'm also a big provider of like, I'm not gonna leave the house without a fit on. I have too many nice
man. I love that energy. I love that energy.
Like
I love that, but I love that, and you would think I do support that, but I don't do that. I don't practice that preach just because I don't know. Maybe it's like I'm not going out to somewhere where I want to use it, and my whole thing is like, oh, this is a brand new tee or a tee I value more. That I don't want to get it dirty, even though I really won't get dirty. So, or it just feel like I don't get the use out of it, or it's fucking hot.
Yeah.
And then, or my thing is, I got hella layers. Yeah, or no one saw it, or I got hella layers. I got hella jackets. Like, Joe will tell you, like, I got basically 3 closets. And then one closet's basically outerwear shit. And I just think, bro, and just men's fashion alone, like, it's so much easier to wear layers and look flyer. Yes, of course, with one garment. But you're wearing a polo. Technically, there's a chance you're wearing a t-shirt or a tank top under. Like, bro, it's hot to wear layers, and that's my opinion.
Yeah. And like I said, I get that too. Because like I said, I come from the Midwest.
Right.
Yeah.
I have to wear layers to survive to walk outside. Like it's just a game you have to play, and that's why I used to love. That's why I used to really love fashion. Why I used to love living out there because I got full use of my closet.
Right.
I could use everything. I could pull a layer off, and it's still another fit. It's now a new fit with a different thing. Dude. So and layer all that stuff, decent and stuff. But I also totally get it for the fact of like. I have a pair of these old school, these vintage Evangelion collab pants that they did with this Japanese denim brand back in the 2000s. I got these for like a pretty decent price. They're a little small for what I wanted, but it's like I said, Japanese denim brand. I expected that.
Tiny.
I got to work down to that.
Size 28 is too big. Is a 2XL.
Tight things. But I got them mostly for the fact of like it's one of those pieces. I'm probably gonna wear them a lot until I can. But even if I do, when I can, I probably won't wear them a whole lot just because like they're a real nice piece.
Yeah.
So I can get it for that front and stuff like that. But it also comes. It's also to the fact of like. You should be able to pick and choose where your fit's going because, like you said, you're not going to throw on a hugely crazy layer fit in the middle of the day right now.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: are you those type of people that, if you see someone on TV or whatever video, and it's like, oh, that's a nice jacket or something, you want to find out where it's from? Are you like, will you look it up?
Usually, it's funny because usually I'm the one that goes, I know that jacket because either I have it or I've been looking for it.
I've seen it.
Like I've had my friends send me videos, and I'll either go, oh, I know that jacket. That's from this drop, this brand. Or I'll go, I have this jacket.
Yo, that's crazy. I've had that before, too, where I've had homies show me, like, hey, this artist is, like, a mainstream artist's music video. Like, hey, do you know that jacket? It's like, oh, yeah, it's Rude.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's him. Like, something simple. Like, oh, yeah, I know that shit. I was thinking, like, oh, I'm probably not going to know. How embarrassing. And they showed me it. And I was like, oh, yeah, I know it's that.
One of my favorite rappers, Slime Cito.
He fire, slept on.
Dog. Him. Yo, shout out RSG. Rich Slime. No, always global, never local, everything. Bro rocks a lot of FTP.
Yeah.
I own a lot of the same pieces as him.
That's crazy.
So I'll see him rocking piece and I go, that's hilarious. I have that in my closet right now.
I'm wearing it right now.
And stuff like that. And all that stuff. And so yeah. And like I said, like another inspiration is like Lil Uzi.
Right.
I love Lil Uzi.
I fuck with Uzi. Shout out to Philly.
He has there's so many iconic fits he has where I've like wanted them. I spent a lot now, to be fair, a lot of them are from like the early Uzi era to like the middle-ish. And still even now to an extent he'll throw on some stuff I want. But like that old school Uzi era, like the streetwear era Uzi, there were so many pieces I wanted that he had on.
Yeah. You know, it's funny though. I feel like one of the best fits that I like from him, super simple, was just a black tee and he had a Dimebacks hat, and I was like, that's just fun.
Oh,
I don't know. I don't know if it's an Arizona thing or some shit, but I always think it's weird. But I think it's cool when big artists from out of Arizona wear a Diamondbacks hat.
Yeah.
No, no, I totally get
It just
that.
just means a lot. Speaking of that,
You don't see it as much.
yeah, and then speaking of that, so I don't know if you've picked up on that dynamic. So in Arizona, it's really not political or controversial for you to wear any kind of hat anywhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
Isn't it like kind of different like that over there in Illinois?
So real talk, like in Chicago, no one hat bangs.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like
Is that more an LA thing?
It's
I think it might be,
it's
yeah.
a West Coast. That's a West Coast, somewhat East Coast thing because I've heard stories about East Coast people banging hat stuff.
Yeah.
But like,
I think it might be here too, is because everybody comes here from all parts of the
yeah. So you'll get the
country,
X
you know?
of it, like, but like in like the Midwest and like at least in Chicago, from what I've experienced through like friends I've had and through seeing it, is that like it's not, you don't really bang for hat stuff or colors too much to an extent. It's more of like subsets. So like you have your you have your GDs, your GDKs, your BDs, your Vice Lords, all this stuff. But in those you'll have like subsets like Insane and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
like subsets of subsets of
Maniac
subsets.
Disciple.
Like
Yeah,
even,
like
even,
that, yeah.
even to the point of like I've known people who are in a subset of a subset of a subset
Oh,
of a
shit.
gang that's their own version where it's like 4 of them.
Yeah,
that have, that
it's
have
like a
made
click
they-
of a click of a click.
that made their own gang because they don't want to do the beefs of someone else, so they
Yeah.
want to do their own beef.
That's
So then all
crazy.
their stuff, like it's down to that. So it,
Yeah.
it more
Okay.
becomes it's less what you wear to an extent, and it's more of who you know.
Hmm.
Now you do still get that more, but it's more in the city. On the south side, you do get that a little bit of color banging, a little bit of clothing banging, but usually it tends to come down to where you're from, who you're repping,
Your association.
yeah, pretty much association.
Yeah, that's what I can appreciate though. At least in Arizona, just more of a modern day thing is that it's not really colors or hats and things. At least here in Arizona, compared to like the early 2000s, where like when we were younger, bro, like it kind of was that like, hey, in this predominant area is more Latinos, in this area there's more like more black folks and stuff like that. It's not really white folks in Mesa at the time, and then it's just more like association.
Yeah.
But at that time, this is kind of when like you see the resurgence of the Y2K style coming back. But at that time, when we were kids, probably like 8, like they would associate you that.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
appearance and what color. And if you were a Latino, say in Mesa, if you're a Latino wearing red, it's like, oh, that's controversial because
yeah.
But if you go to Phoenix and you're
It
wearing
didn't
blue,
matter.
that's controversial. But this is I'm talking early 2000s.
Yeah,
Things
yeah.
have changed now, and I'm glad that people can just wear their clothes.
Right.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
and I think a lot of that has changed from just how fashion has become a normalized thing.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure y'all remember like being younger is like even for like me, I remember being in high school being told that like me being able to dress myself and have a sense of style would put off girls because they thought I was gay.
Oh, I think I've heard that before in my early stages of getting into
Fashion.
changing into clothes.
You-
You're like,
you-
oh, he must be gay.
Yeah, because you care about it too much. But like,
Yeah.
that's changed so much. Like I
Yeah.
tell myself all the time, I am so glad I'm not in high school right now. I'd be arguing with every single kid about fashion because I would have to deal with the kid who wears all chrome hearts and the kid who wears all gallery department and denim tears and
Oh yeah, the
No,
the
they do that.
tier level
Yeah.
of association and
Yep.
price tag is different now.
like the game is less because now to be fair, the game has always kind of been like brand loyalty, but it's
Right.
it's less like brand loyalty, and now it's about price tag. Like
Flexation.
You'll have someone spend like $1,000 on a pair of like Louis denims, and then throw on the dirtiest white tee and the dirtiest forces, and then walk up to you.
Or they got the packs on tee with the
Oh, I
Montclair
got a
shoes.
good question
like,
for you.
and all that stuff, and then they walk up to me and try to argue with me. Where like my fit, I've like thought about everything and like
Right.
Yeah.
broke it down to like the color theory, the brand, the connecting with brands
Appropriation
connected and all that
and
stuff.
shit, yeah.
And then I have some dude talk about, yeah, bro, you ain't dripping, bro. I got 1,000 on my waist, and I go,
Let me
"That's
ask
crazy."
you, for example, like that, like you know, a lot of folks like more designer. What do you think about like when they're all decked out in designer, or just one simple brand and that's all they do? Because
So don't get me wrong. I think the brand stuff is fine. I'm a victim of it myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm currently wearing an almost all FTP fit.
Right.
So
Shout out, Zach.
I shout out my man's. So I do think it's okay. I have a problem with the designer of it because I like designer. You know, I like Louis. I like Chrome Hearts. It sucks that it's oversaturated and kind of
Right.
been ruined, but I like it still. But I hate it when the person who buys the all Louis fit tries to get in an argument about fashion when it's
Yeah.
clear you only bought that because your favorite rapper had it.
Right.
Yeah, and it's just
Or you-
copy and paste clone shit.
A perfect example. Why does every rapper is either doing the same thing? They're dating the same girls. They're doing the same drugs. They're dressing the same.
Yeah.
They're all the same.
I mean, granted, I understand and respect that some rappers are just not the fashion rappers.
Yeah.
But and then you'll see their come up like Like, you know, just respectfully, like say someone like 1900 Rugrat, you seen it come up, and it's the whole thing where I just got signed, so I'll treat myself.
Yeah.
So I'll design it down, but he's the genuine, in my opinion, a genuine come up. So it's like him treating his class has changed. You know what I'm
he's
saying?
a perfect example. You can
But he's
tell
not
he
someone you would
understands.
like. Oh, maybe some younger kids might jack his flow
Yeah.
and shit, but like, yeah, he's not a fashion icon respectfully. But nor is he trying to do that.
Mm-hmm.
He's just wearing designer head to toe because that's what he like. But at least he changes it.
Yeah.
Do I agree with it? And would I wear that fit? No, but he looks dope.
Yeah, and like, he's a perfect. It's a good example because I like Rugrat. I think his style. You can tell he's thought. You can tell he thinks it through at least.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. If you can wear an old designer fit, if I can tell you've thought about it.
You can
Right.
own it.
Like I don't mind when Uzi's wearing an all Chanel and Louis fit because
Yeah,
I
because
can,
he makes it look dope, though.
Yeah.
but you can tell he thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't just buy it to buy it. It fit the aesthetic he wanted.
Yeah.
Compared to little Johnny with the switch
Yeah.
from the suburbs,
Exactly,
putting
yeah.
on the Louis shirt, the Amiri jeans,
The gallery tour,
and
yeah.
and the Louis shoes, going to school talking about I'm the drippiest kid in school. Y'all can't get like me.
Validation
Like, bro,
Right.
for the branding. You know what I'm
Like-
saying? Instead of the piece itself.
Like you're wasting all this money and just wasting your time, not really like getting imaginative with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are so many like cool like designers streetwear stuff and just designer pieces in general that can come out of it. Like I'm not a big fan of Rick Owens, to be honest with you.
Really?
I don't like it. I think it's
Not even the
gaudy.
shoes?
No.
I like the shoes. Yeah.
I think the Ramones are terrible.
The Converse looking ones, right?
Yeah.
Those
Wait, you
are-
talking about, my bad. Are we talking about Rick Owens? Oh, Rick Owens, not Raph Simmons?
No, either or. Raph Simmons, I kind of like a little bit more just because.
Because I feel like the clothes for Raph is crazy. And then Rick, I feel like his niche is the bags and the shoes.
My problem with Rick is that Rick Owens is like it's gotten oversaturated and even on its own, it's just not my aesthetic.
Definitely.
It's
See,
like
I feel like those
body
shoes,
core.
okay, is it the Ramones, the
Yeah.
chunky ones? Bro, I like those are fire. I don't know if I ever actually get around to owning
Mm-hmm.
one or making that effort, especially now this day and age. But I feel like that's an example. That shit's hard and I like it. And I'm not trying to be classy. Oh, if you know, you know. But it got so saturated that, bro, I know half of these people would only got it because it's clout name
Or
association.
because they saw someone they liked have them.
Yeah, and it's like, bro, it's one of those things. And I'm not trying to be like, oh, I knew about it before you. But you guys never would have fucked with it if it had not hit the mainstream. It'd been around a while.
Yeah, and that's where my issue comes from. Is from that like I hate to be that person that's just like, do you know the history of that piece?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
like I'm not even I don't know all the history of the pieces. It's not that deep to an extent. But even having just even a slightly understanding of like how to style it or even what you're wearing outside of just the price tag or the name association, I think goes a long way. And the sad part is that like I think a lot of what the fashion game nowadays has lost is that it's now a numbers game.
Right,
It isn't about expressing yourself and
Or
having a
rare. At
genuine-
least back when I was a kid, it was like, oh, this shit was rare. Like, you know,
know.
not brand wise or piece wise.
You get the limited time drop. You
Yeah.
get the
Like,
get
yeah,
the
you
super
you
lit
know this
prime.
brand, but you haven't seen this one before.
You get your ones of ones.
That's
you know.
that's brand loyalty right there. Some formation. No,
You know all that stuff and all that. And so I think a lot of that has like changed for the game. And now to an extent, I also have to remember I'm on the internet a lot. I consume a lot of internet information from like politics to like news to just like fashion, just everything. So I have to always remember that if I'm seeing it a bunch on the internet, it probably isn't that it's happening a bunch. It's just that on the internet it's happening
Definitely.
a bunch.
Right, yeah, yeah.
Definitely.
Like I used to think that like my style was good, but it was never interesting. And I remember when I moved out here, a bunch of my friends would tell me, "Yo, go out there and show those out there
Arizonians.
Arizonians or whatever
Yeah.
out there what real fashion is." And I didn't believe them. No joke. The first year I was here, I got stopped maybe over 10 times.
damn.
I remember the first time it happened, I walked into a Target, and this group of teenagers sees me, and they run up to me, surround me, and they just go, "Bro, you little Uzi?"
No way.
What the bro? You're like 2 feet taller than Uzi.
2 feet tall.
and everything, and I'm just like, and I'm just standing up, just thinking to myself, I'm like, oh my god, they were right, and everything. And so and I remember another time, I'm walking to a Target again. This is why I gotta stop going to Target. I was walking to a Target, and I had like my hair back, my dreads back with a hair tie thing.
Yeah.
And like when I do that, I kind of look like J. Cole. My friends will jokingly call me J. Cole. So I'm walking, and this dude, I'm not joking. He's mid conversation with his girlfriend. He I watch his eyes go up, make eye contact with me. He stops talking to her, looks me in my face, and goes, "J. Cole?"
No way.
And I go, "Yeah, what's up, Brody?" And then walked away and stuff like that. And I was like, I can't be doing this.
Not
like,
even gonna bother explaining anything. What's up?
and all that. So I was like, that's cool. That's crazy. But like, I've had like so many weird experiences with this. Like, I remember standing in line at a dispensary, and the dude turned around and he saw my vape stairs, and he goes, "Dude, those are so fire. Where did you get those?" I remember I was known at my first weed job out here. I was known at work.
Yeah.
People would come up to me and ask me, "Hey, bro, no offense, like, what's your name? I only really know you as the dude with the cool fits."
No way. Chris?
That's how people
Shit.
knew me and everything.
dope.
And so that's also why I like fashion so much because like I'm
It's
a
like
pretty
expressive. It's your
Yeah.
identity
Yeah.
and shit.
I'm a pretty like internal person. Like I can be an extrovert, but at the same time I can be
Hurry up, because I got a good question.
I
Watch out,
can
watch out.
I also at the same time can kind of like express some not that. But I like my fashion because again I can be loud, and that's a real good talking point for people to come talk to me. I don't really like starting conversations. I feel weird about it.
Right.
I feel like an inconvenience to people. So whenever that happens. I tend to I like that my fashion can be the thing that people come up to me and go, "Hey man, your fit's cool." And
Yeah.
start a conversation.
Because that seemed like I get what you mean about that. Because for example, if I would just see you out there like anywhere, I'm like, all right, I like his outfit, I like his fit. Because you walk anywhere you go, you like I said, you either see people like all just dripped out in one whole designer brand, whatever, or nothing at all, just like a plain t-shirts and like slacked
and,
off.
and you gotta know
Yeah.
know if you know.
Yeah. So like if I would see you, like, oh, okay, I get it. This guy knows what he's talking about,
Yeah.
or what he's doing. You know what I mean?
And all that stuff, and I like that too, because like my other big thing is that I like to spread the sauce. I like to
Yeah.
spread the game. If you ask me where I got something, I'm gonna put you on.
You don't gatekeep.
No, I
No?
don't really believe in gatekeeping too much anymore. Younger me would have been like, nah, keep it low key.
Same, yeah.
If I know, I know. But nowadays, I'm like, no, I gotta spread the game around because I want other people to really see fashion more than just a price tag and just a status thing, and a way to actually express yourself and find who you are. Because it helped me get out of my shell. It
Right.
helped me find who I was, because through it, I was able to kind of get myself out there more, build my confidence a little bit more, and be and feel more of like a more interesting person than just
Right.
in a room.
No, that's true. Because people do come up to you. Because I can't say I'm like the most fashionable type compared to you or my brother, but there's been times where I just throw in a fit, or like for example, I'm more of a shoe guy, so I throw on my Yeezys and something like that, and something like kind of like to go with it, not as much. I don't like to really match.
Yeah.
But I would be out in the store like, oh, bro, I like your fit. Or like, I mean, I think it's casual, but like, all right, cool, thanks. Like, you know what I mean?
It's nice. It's nice to know that like what you think is good and what you think is unique is also noticed and also reciprocated. And I think that's where like really cool comes from it. And so that's why I like passing on to other people and teaching other people and like putting other people on.
Yeah.
And that and everything like that. Like that's a big thing when I came out here, was just like, I'm just like, I remember my group of friends out here, I would get on them about pieces, about clothes. Hell, I've had homegirls ask me to look at to judge their closet and
Right.
like let them know if it's good or not.
Right.
Because I take the time, I listen, I understand. Like I said, I'm also big on like I'm not really like gender sided. Personally for me, if you ask me like what clothing I think has more uniquity to it, I think women's clothes do.
Dude,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
big facts. I don't mean coming in. I 100% agree.
Yeah.
Just because one of the things that always kind of irritates me, maybe it's where I'm looking at, but something as simple as going to the thrift or maybe just trying to get a deal from like Ross and shit. And what I emphasize is those two places have a variety of mix of things.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing everything, and what I mean by that is, sorry, I'm out of breath. I just ran back. What I mean by that is those places have collectively random stuff, all intertwined in one place. But when I do check out the women's stuff, they have different silhouettes.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
thing I can't emphasize enough, like especially women's tops, even pants too, but women's tops have more, like whether it's a blouse, a shirt, or a jacket, they have more shape, more definition.
There's so much
And on
more
top of that,
variety.
from what I'm seeing, they're generally cheaper.
Yeah.
It's gonna cost the same price to manufacture, maybe a little bit less or whatever. But for men's, it's a lot more expensive. If I want a different silhouette on a garment, like say a button up or something, it's just more expensive.
You're
and
paying
shit.
an extra
Yeah.
dollar. And like a big thing, like one of my favorite games of all time, I am a Sims head.
Sims like the
I
game. Okay, yeah.
love The Sims. I have like almost 4,000 hours in that game, and it's for the big fat because it's a life sim / dress up game. I have
Right.
like thousands of clothing for it,
Yeah, I feel that.
and since a lot of it tends to lean towards women, I have gained a massive appreciation in like. In understand and like look into women's clothing and how there's so much more variety.
There is. Yeah.
There's so much more you can do with it,
Definitely.
from patterns to just styles to cuts. There's just a lot more to do with it. Same thing with guy clothes. You know, you have your polos, you have your button ups, you have your t-shirts, but there's just so much more to it, and everything seems to have, everything has more fun.
Yeah,
There's more,
definitely.
you can really go outside the box with it. And compared to like guy clothes, you kind of have to either stick within like a weird niche,
Like 4 silhouettes, typically
Yeah.
being a t-shirt.
or like a set of like certain style
Right.
ways that people will actually rock, and then whenever you get out of it, you have to fight through the uphill battle. People being like, "Oh, that's weird. That's out of place. Oh, that's this and that."
Yeah,
and
definitely.
all that stuff. Like when it doesn't need to be. And all that stuff, and so I find that's where the fun of fashion comes from it too,
Definitely.
on both sides and everything. And so from that, it's just given me just a greater overall appreciation for fashion in general, and just how I approach it all the time. And even myself, like I said, I wear a lot of blacks, a lot of like grays and stuff. Over the years I've added more color to it. I've noticed that people do notice when you do add more color to your stuff.
Definitely.
And all that stuff compared to just sticking to the same. But it also comes down to, at the end of the day, what you find comfortable, what you find that fits. And when you find it, it does change things. It does change the game completely, and it makes you view things differently. At least that's from my experience.
No,
with
I
it.
100% agree with you.
All right, let me ask you guys, since you guys are both of the fashion guys. I like dabbling in fashion and watching videos and stuff like that. So I've come up on some like videos, like mostly like New York videos where they go around asking fits,
Oh yeah.
stuff like that. And I've noticed New York has like a specific style. I mean, there's no style; it's just making up your own style. But
Yes.
is there a difference between New York fashion and like let's say LA fashion?
Oh, there's a
Yeah,
huge
100%.
difference. Like that, like that's the cool part about fashion. It's like it's so unique to different areas. Like East Coast, you'll get either get you're between, it's usually a mixture of streetwear, work casual, or abstract.
Definitely.
So that's how you get the motherfuckers who walk around in like the crazy Rick Owen fits and like the small time fashion brands of like, it's like some dude in like a corner bureau in the middle of like Chinatown that you have to go to get it and stuff.
Yeah.
And then the Midwest South area is like a mixture of like streetwear and like the East Coast streetwear aesthetic. So you get a lot of your baggy clothes, your graphic tees, and then the farther you go down, then you get your skinny jeans, your more cut shirts and stuff like that. And then as you go West Coast, the West Coast more, at least from how I view it, has a mixture of baggy and like very like neutral color kind of sets. So you'll get a lot of like solid color mixtures mixed in with that, and then it will immediately jump to like high-end designer stuff.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, everyone has their own interests. Like, you know, how we just talked about, there's like everyone just wearing brands and brands and brands. And maybe it's just what I'm seeing, but I feel like I see it a little bit more when it comes to West Coast fashion compared to East Coast fashion just being, they'll fuck with the brands and they'll flex the brands, but it's more like how we talked about. Maybe it's 'cause it's a temperature thing, but they'll do more silhouettes, more layering, more things of that nature.
And a lot of that comes from, let's be real, what was the biggest scene for streetwear during the blow up of 2010s? West Coast, East Coast, but heavily West Coast. We all remember the rappers in LA with the Bape, with the Off-White, with the Louis, all the stuff,
Supreme.
and all that stuff. So like a lot of that, I think, which is why you tend to see a lot of that more out here with that. It's because of that. You find more brand loyalty because that used to be the currency for a lot of like to get known in fashion. Every big artist that I know that either from LA or ends up in LA will always tend to end up falling under a handful of these brands and don't really get out of it and everything. And then hell even down to like the streets. Pro Club.
Yeah.
Massive out here. Massive on this side. On the East Coast, it's not really that big.
Yeah, it's one of those things. And then, real quick, I was telling you, like I keep saying it, like the All Style Apparel tees.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was just a Valley thing or Arizona thing, but we used to call it like AAA's. Like no one ever called it All Style Apparel. Maybe it was like a
Triple A's?
regional thing. Yeah, we just call them AAA's.
A lot of that just comes down to lingo change. I think at the newer generation kind of changed it up, and so that's why you'll lose a lot of that stuff, kind of, and everything. Because I've seen it happen with several things. And like Supreme itself, like in the sense of how like Supreme went from like a currency you could trade anywhere to just nothing.
And see Supreme. I'm wearing the Supreme tee right now, bro. This was one of my top grails, not in the sense of like the price tag, but I wanted that shit so much. Especially the hoodie version. But me, Bro, I fuck with Supreme as like an actual consumer, like an actual, what's it called, brand loyalty. Like,
Yeah.
I've been fucking with. So when it went downhill, I was one of those people like, okay, at least I can fucking
Trying
buy
to come up.
I
You
can
see-
buy the shit that I want. Now.
Yeah, you see,
Yeah.
I'm having it right now with FTP, but the opposite. FTP has been blowing up crazy the last few years. Like, I'm not.
Is it like a resurgence and shit?
It's a massive resurgence. Like, dude,
Yeah.
those drops sell out like crazy. Like, I'm not joking. I literally wake up about 2 minutes before the drop happens and spam refresh the website. I'm not joking. I spent the day. He tends to drop the lookbook the day before the drop.
Yeah.
I will sit there and specifically go through the
cool.
entire thing and then pick out what I want so I know. Because
Yeah.
if you go in not knowing what you want, you
She'll be gone.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm talking
Valid.
boom, 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 boom,
Valid.
boom, boom, gone. Like crazy fast and everything. And then the resale for it's crazy and all that stuff. Same thing with the Suicide Boys stuff. Like I've bought their merch off and on. To be fair, I don't really like them. I don't really buy for them because they take way too long to ship. But
I think that's band merch. That issue is more band
band merch
shit.
and all
Yeah,
that stuff.
for sure.
That's less on them and more of just how that tends to work. But their drops now that they've had ever since their big blow up. Will blow up into the mainstream in 2020. Now they're like an established group. Their merch sales go like sell it instantly, like it flies, like to the point that I'm like, dog. I used to be able to like wait a day or two and get something.
Oh, shit,
stuff
yeah.
stuff is gone in seconds
Shit.
and all that stuff.
Like when stuff used to sit on the site for a bit,
Yeah.
and then it would be sold out in like maybe a week.
and everything.
You know
and
what I mean?
And that's why also what made me kind of go back into like the resale game because of things like I like the Coogee pants I really like those I get those for like the most I'll pay is like 100.
Damn.
Yeah, and those are the things I try to find myself, but it's like I want to fuck with them, but I rather find it, loving
Yeah.
the game for secondhand. But it's such a saturated market now with like the TikTok kids, and it came a trend. Pros and cons that you can't really find that shit no more.
Yeah.
Or you got to be that early fucking bird. But even then, I just feel like it's just
You're
cleaned the fuck out already.
You're still gonna get beat out by like the 16-year-old who's hopped up on energy drinks from the night before. who's been-
Yeah, and then
who-
he's just like
who's been,
grabbing anything that's single stitch. Doesn't even fuck with it. He's just grabbing it, grab it.
and just taking a picture instantly and then popping it up on Depop and calling it a day. Like,
Yeah.
again-
Oh, you seen when people fucking bait post their shit? Like they'll
Oh my
fucking. Have you seen this?
God.
Or like whether at thrift or the Ross or some shit, they'll
Yeah.
put probably like a crazy T-shirt
That
and
they found,
they-
and they say they found it here.
yeah, like they'll bring
Yeah.
their own shit and then post it at the thrift or some shit or at the bins
Yeah.
and be like, oh, I found this. Like, you fucking liar. Like
Yeah.
they didn't do it. They were just baiting it.
that's a huge problem I've been seeing. I've gotten as time gone, you can kind of notice it now.
Definitely.
I saw there's one dude that goes around, bro, pulled like an old style vintage NASCAR zip up jacket at like a Goodwill or
Yeah.
something. I was like, you did not pull that from here.
I used to fall for that in the beginning because I wanted to get into thrifting, and then when I started to catch on, I was like, wait, they're probably just bringing it themselves, throwing it in there. Like, oh, look what I found. Like, nah.
And
fuck
that's what got me out of like the actual like thrifting game. Like I like the thrift stores I go for now. Like I make sure to look into them and make sure they are like thrift stores. They have decent pieces. Like Trend Arizona. I really like them. Really
think I
good,
heard of them, yeah.
really good prices. A really good selection. Cultivate Collective over on University. There, I hit them last week, like a weekend or two ago. Got a pair of Coogee shorts for like $60.
Fire.
Like some nice ones, like they got a decent selection there and stuff like that. And so I found like All in One, another great one, which is a mixture of like designer streetwear.
Where's that
and
one at?
All in One's over there and like over there in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Can't remember exactly the spot.
Oh, yeah, yo, I think I saw a TikTok pop up like literally just yesterday.
Yeah, they're over there.
All in
They're
One
across the
and
street. They're across the street from that Thai restaurant.
Yeah, dope.
And so
dope.
that-
I love to see more of them coming out.
Yeah, and I like them because like I'm used to having to drive up to Chicago to go to clothing stores because like I'm the only big clothing store out there I really remember going to regularly was like Half Evil. I'm a big fan of Half Evil.
Are
have
they from Chicago?
yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
They have a flagship store up there
Yeah.
and everything. And so I used to go up there all the time to go whenever I wanted to catch drops and stuff. And it's just a cool store and everything. And so from that, I remember having to drive so far to go to places. I have to drive a town over to go to Azumi's.
Damn.
Because
Really?
the,
Damn, what the heck?
the mall in my town is basically dead.
Shit.
It's dead.
Would you guys go to Japan?
I
Yeah.
would
Is there a big
love-
vintage?
Oh,
thing
dude,
over
the
there?
vintage
Or,
game over there is different depending on
different.
where you shop at. Like some of them, they'll probably have little slept-on pieces that you can find, and some of it's like hella curated. But I feel like the Japanese culture is, it's that whole thing where they're like super like polite in manners and stuff. I don't know, the way they organize their stores too even says that.
It's very cultivated. You can tell. My favorite thing is that like I love finding like small corner places.
Mm-hmm.
The cool part about Japan is that there's lots of those clothing places that are just tucked away in like alleyways and stuff.
Yeah.
And those were the real cultivation, the real like down to grind of like I'm doing this for the passion is and stuff like that. And on top of the fact, like I said, I'm a huge fan of anime. The cliche it out. I would love to go. I want to go. I've been wanting to go to Japan since like fucking like 16, like and all that stuff. So a lot of that goes into it too. But yeah, just the fashion scene, the culture itself. I also like really loves weirdly city architecture.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm not crazy into architecture. I don't really get it, but I have a weird obsession with that just city landscapes.
Oh yeah, that's
and just cities in general. And so Japan cities are built to be walked. My favorite thing.
Dude, yeah. So that's the thing. I can't say it enough. I talked to him about it. The thing I don't. Maybe it's not just an Arizona thing. It's a problem. Like I feel like in the United States is that we don't have walkable cities anymore.
No,
you don't
not
have
at all.
if they are, it's small or super expensive, and it's just not ideal. Like we don't have the luxury. Like hey, maybe where our studios at, we can do little stuff, but even then, it's so industrial establishment buildings that it doesn't have that feel. That.
Well, a great example is that like look at New York. For as much as it's built for cars, that city is built to be walked.
Badass.
Like I've been like twice now, and like I love it for the fact that you can walk everywhere.
Yeah.
It doesn't. You don't need a car that bad. You can hop a train, get an Uber.
That's what I always wondered. All jokes aside, like if it's so populated and so many people drive that everyone walks, then who's driving? Like
a mixture is people because it's so expensive. You have to live out. You have to live outside of it. Like I have my old roommate lives outside of New York because it's so fucking expensive to live in New York.
Yeah, no, for our homegirl, she says she lives in New York, but technically she lives in Jersey, 20 minutes away.
Yep, same thing with people I know, or I know people who live down in Philly, one of my other favorite city. My number one favorite city.
Isn't Philly like an hour or two away?
Yeah.
Like
It's
equivalent
train
to
ride?
here to
Yeah.
fucking Tucson.
Yeah, it's a literal train ride. It's a literal
crazy.
train ride. It's that close. So
I know that
people
because
do that.
of Hidden Gems.
Oh, for real thing.
Yeah, remember that one part where they're like, hey, let's go to New York. Have you seen Hidden Gems?
Yeah.
Well, he's like, take me to New York, take me to New York. And
Yeah.
and he's like, wow, take me to Philly or some shit, or vice versa. And he takes him over there to where they're practicing and shit at. I don't know. I just remember that. That's the only reason I know.
And you would you're confused of like why people drive cars. That's some of it, and also then people in the city will have cars and then use it for like Uber and stuff.
Yeah.
Because there's money to make it there. But same thing with Chicago. Chicago's also another city that's very walkable and everything. And like I can tell you from driving up there, it kind of fucking sucks because
Is the traffic worse,
or
or is it crazier?
Is it as bad as downtown Phoenix?
Yeah.
Nah, because honestly, downtown Phoenix isn't as bad.
Right.
Like downtown Chicago, like it's like you'll have like one street that's completely fine. Next street over is construction, all weaved out and all this crap and stuff like that. There's always a ton of stuff happening. Traffic's always backed up. It's hard to find parking. Everything, and then it's a tourist destination everywhere, so everyone's packed all the fucking time. And so from that, I've just it's like you can tell it was made for like walking and like living it through that. And so because of that, that's where I tend to like more stuff with that. And that's why I find it funny when I came out here and I saw where like how Phoenix is set up, I went, yeah, this is not a city. There's like maybe 10 big buildings and like this big of an area to walk of a city, and that's
This
it.
is the city.
And I was
not
like,
a real place.
I literally went, this is it. Like is this like this just feels like my hometown, except you extended it 2 times.
It's hot.
Yeah, that too. That's another thing. Is like I miss seasons. Like I miss the rain.
Yeah,
And,
that's a bet.
I miss the snow, and I remember I almost walked to work one day because my car couldn't get out of the snow in a blizzard.
So you decided to you contemplated walking?
I understand. I have a real hard work ethic because I was not good in school at all. Like I barely sort of passed high school.
Yeah.
I dropped out of community college. I was like, I can't do the school thing.
Yeah,
It's not.
me too.
It was not my game. So yeah, you know how I go.
Yeah.
So like for me, I gained a really good work ethic. So like I'll put up with a lot. Like I worked at Sam's Club when I was like 20, 21.
Yeah.
And they had me closing that cafe by myself every day, almost every day. Whole thing by myself. I was doing that. I would come in, relieve my other coworker who was there by himself all day, and do the whole thing. So like I've had to deal with like crap at jobs where I'm like, it doesn't matter as long as the job gets done, it gets done. So I was dad's like, I remember I called my manager. I'm like, yo, I finna walk over there, and he was like, what do you mean walk? Because I'm a delivery driver, so I needed my whip. He's like, what do you mean walk? I'm like, I'm not gonna lie to you, my car not gonna make it there, slide and stuff. I'm just gonna walk. He literally just goes, dude, don't come in, and everything, which was funny to me because I'm not used to jobs just being like that. And luckily, I was really cool with that manager. Shout out my man Joey, but. He was just like, dude, don't come in. We'll just
He's like, that's fine.
We're just gonna close the we're gonna control like delivery for the day. It doesn't matter. It's like not that deep, dog. I was like, okay, shoot. And I just went back inside and smoked weed.
Yo, what a who. Damn, I forget about shit like that. And then there's like snow tires and shit. Like I forget.
Dude.
Like there's different environments and needs.
Oh yeah, no, I remember the first time I remember like it really dropped and be like under 0 degrees in my town.
Yeah.
I was working at Sam's Club, and our GM opened the Sam's Club all day. We had maybe 30 people come in, maybe the whole day. It's negative like almost 12 out there.
Holy shit!
And I'm standing there running that cafe where there's no one coming in. They were trying to make the cart guys come in and work outside, even though there was an advisement saying don't stay outside. So I was like, okay. This is dumb.
Some real weather is there.
I remember times standing in John's garage smoking weed, standing around a heater.
Yeah.
Just to keep warm.
Oh, hell no.
Keeping that blunt warm, keeping that blunt going.
The blunt doesn't keep you warm?
And everything. Like, I remember, because I used to have a gaming laptop at the time.
Yeah.
We watched anime on there. So luckily the gaming laptop would pump out a bunch of hot air.
Oh, shit, yeah.
So it would warm up a room after a little bit. But like, I remember like cold nights, sitting in cars and sitting in garages smoking weed and trying to find everything. Like I was glad when I got old enough, and like most of my friends were just like, yeah, if you come over, we can smoke inside.
Yeah.
Like that's when it was a godsend.
Elemental change.
Because I was like, smoking outside sucks. I
real.
hate it's that. Never mind. I still did every now and then because like it's real nice on like a real calm winter.
Yeah.
No wind. No nut. It's just kind of cold, but like bearable cold.
Yeah.
And you just smoke, and you can just see the cloud just sit there.
Keeps going.
It's
Keeps
nice and stuff like that. So I miss that compared to like out here. Like out here, it's nice that like I can wear shorts all the time, but I don't really wear shorts like that.
Like I think I do Arizona wise when you're inside and you go outside at midday or a certain time of the day. I do enjoy the toastiness for like the first few minutes, and then maybe before it gets to like 10 minutes, or say you do some actual movement, like just throw out the trash, and then you start fucking sweating like crazy and shit. Like fuck, I might need a shower. Like oh fuck, I gotta leave in 30 minutes. Like fuck, I'll just jug it out like that.
The heat be making me so mad because I've ruined so many brims on my fitted caps from
yeah.
sweating.
Shit.
Oh my god, I've had to clean my hat so many times from just sweating from doing absolutely nothing but standing.
Absolutely nothing.
And all that, and like most of my wardrobe's black, so like I'm just standing outside, constantly catching heat twice as hard.
And then I'll admit that too. I feel like because the heat, I feel like I've been caring less about what I wear. Maybe just getting older, but it's like, come on, Tino, this isn't you. But then it's like I said, like I don't want to bust out a tee I haven't worn and shit is brand new and I sweating in and feel like no use of it.
Yeah.
But then I don't know. Maybe I need to get more heat appropriate clothes, but still, and it's like
the way I see it and how I do it, because like, I have enough clothes at this point that like real talk, I would not have to do laundry for like almost half a year.
I feel that.
Because I would have enough fits to rotate through enough times, enough shirts to rotate through that I'd be fine. So I try to get a complete use in my closet. So I have shirts that haven't been worn for months. I've had shirts that get worn a little bit more than others, but I have that same issue of like I don't want to sweat into it. But then I think about it, I'm like, okay, to be real, I haven't worn this shirt in like 3 months.
Right.
So let me just wear it now, sweat in it. It gives me an excuse to wash it.
Definitely.
And then goes in. So that's how I kind of just do it now.
Yeah.
Is I kind of just go through and like stuff and try to like mix it up. Like I do the game of just like close my eyes, running my hand across it and stopping.
Damn, yeah, that much.
And grabbing.
Damn.
And grabbing whatever.
I can't pick. So it's pick. Yo, speaking of that, my bad.
Now I'm gonna let Destiny pick for me.
It's the same when you always wearing shit too.
Yeah.
Oh fuck. Speaking of that, yo, we should do some shit like that. Remember we talking about we're gonna go to the thrift and do like a little challenge. We just pick out a fit pick or something. A fit, a little.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Whether we form a fit with purpose, a budget, or fucking some random shit, that should be dope.
Oh, I'm so down. Like I said,
I'm with it.
You know, I got some places that I know some places. So
Hell yeah.
We could also do the one with you go to like a budget, like where you go to Walmart or Target, because they have some decent like clothing.
dude.
like that's one that I've got only because I used to make a lot. I used to give my friends shit for that. They'd be like, "Oh, you guys at Walmart," but like low key Walmart do got kind of.
They
They
do.
be stepping the shit up, bro.
They kind of care some like you can get some like if you're looking for like some casual like just like casual wear, you can find like some
Yeah,
decent
and
stuff.
then I think it's called Free Mode or something, or what's it called, Free something.
I don't know.
I don't know. They have like this basic brand that has some staple pieces and shit.
Yeah.
And then it's that whole thing. I've always said this shit. Like you said, if you like it, you like it. But I've always said that with certain niches like that, like even when Forever 21 had decent shit, like the trick is to not make it look like you got it from there. You gotta just own that shit.
That's true, because I have people tell me like, and I'm not, like I told them earlier, I'm not the most like fashion as you guys are, but like
He's
I like to put myself like in a good fit.
Yeah.
And then like,
Yeah,
where'd you
yeah.
get that? Walmart. And like, well, I wouldn't buy that. Why would I got if I got it from Walmart, you know, they wouldn't get it. But like, if you just make it look like it's not from there,
You just own it.
It's
Yeah.
a flex because
Yeah.
it's also a flex that like shows your knowledge of understanding how to put a good fit together.
How to wear
Because
something.
a good fit shouldn't matter a price tag. It should matter how you wear it.
Exactly.
100%, bro. 100%, bro.
Like-
And I've had that plenty of times when I would like get a lot of thrifted stuff, like make it look fly, make it look clean, or maybe I'll alter it. And people ask me like, "Oh, did you get that from the mall or something, or did you get it at the store?" Like, no, I thrifted it. Like, oh, you thrifted it? I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, bro. This is back when thrifting was more popping, and to now, like a month ago, when it's like kind of more dead. How it is now is just how you own it.
Yeah, and that was a big thing I liked about thrifting and just about like getting into fashion at the beginning was just the limited potential and just the ability to just be able to mix, match, recreate, reuse.
Love it.
And also the whole thing of like once you realize a price tag let me say like a price tag doesn't matter. You really understand that there's more that you're gonna find more to do with it.
Definitely.
I have shirts that are like $20 that I match with pants that cost me almost $200 and it still looks good. I have pants that cost me $60 with shirts that are like they're almost $100 and it still looks good. And so it's once you understand that, and then once you figure out what you want, what your style is, what makes you feel good and makes you feel confident, then I think that's where the real fun really goes into it, and then that's where the real passion can start catching. Like I've seen people ask me questions and like and I've explained it to them, and I've watched them take what I've taught them and then make it and morph into their style and everything.
You know, being a designer myself, or someone that like sews and creates and recreates, I think it's dope as fuck. Like I never truly appreciate a garment. Like I'll love something that I worked on, but to see it on someone else, whether it's a homie or that they bought it or I hooked them up or we did a change, like just seeing someone wear your stuff, it's just like it shines it up. Like
It's a different feeling. Like
it's a wonderful feeling, bro.
It's so validating because it really makes you feel like you know what you're doing and what you're doing is being seen and represented. I get that feeling a lot from when I help put my friends on the clothing or I give my friends pieces that they like. Like it's nice to know that like I'm contributing back to the culture essentially.
Definitely.
And that's one thing I'm really big on. And anything I want to do is be able to get back to the culture.
Definitely.
Never forget where the roots you came from or like the ideas you got it from just because you make it somewhere.
Thanks.
right.
Love that, man. Love that, man.
Well, let's wrap it up right here, guys.
Alright.
It was fun talking about fashion trends and stuff like that.
Definitely. A little bit of everything.
But before, give someone a tip that they're trying to find? Like, let's say someone's trying to find their style. What's one tip you can give them? Like, hey, I need to find my own style or type like that.
Make it unique to you. My big thing when I was really getting into it was I liked anime. Always have. Big into it. So when I started finding out that there were people making anime clothes, I really dived into it and I really got into it, and it really made me love fashion even more because once I realized I can find clothes that look good, stand out, and fit my aesthetic that also fit what I like, it really validates what you're doing, and it really makes you want to do it more. So
Definitely.
like if you're confused or you can't really find your stuff, or you're like, oh, I don't really want to wear a brandy type thing, or I don't think I can pull it off at first. Find stuff that fits your niche: sports, anime, comic books, television, like stuff that fits your niche, and work from there. Because especially nowadays, because when I was getting into it in 2020, it was kind of hard to find that. And to find good ones that weren't made like crap or weren't through one of the main distributing brands that
Or just some third-party license.
Yeah, that just barely tried, like getting it from
Yeah.
someone who knew. So nowadays, you can find your niche in pretty much anything. It is not that it's not really that off limits, and it's not that hard to find. You can find your niche in anything. So lean into that, and it makes it so much easier. And then once you do figure that out, work from there, because it will expand out to other things, and you also will grow out of it. Don't lean too much into it too. I've made the mistake of buying too many pieces that I don't really wear anymore, or really like in the moment that I don't want now. Be careful. Don't fall into the FOMO of not wanting to get it.
Yeah.
You don't need every piece.
Right.
Yeah, and just real quick on that same note is just, I feel like one of the best advices too is finding stuff that not only you're gonna like rock with your heavy that you like, but also stuff that invest in a couple pieces that might be versatile for the situation.
Right.
You might go to a baby shower, you might go to a date. It doesn't have to be super flashy. It could be or super clean or super classy. It's how you put it together, and it's something how you use. Because one mistake I always made is just buying a bunch of like my quote unquote bangers, but it's like I went more streetwear instead of like, you know, I need something more simple to go out on a date with. You know what I'm saying?
I can't pull up to a wedding and a pair of Louis denims.
Yeah.
And like my Tsukami shirt and like a fitted cap and my chains.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look crazy.
Exactly. Or hey, it's a baby shower or some family. Like they don't know nothing about this, bro.
I can't pull up in like in like an exclusive Chrome Heart shirt and like some leather pants and expect to not be looked at. Like I need like a polo that can look kind of poppy, but it's still a polo.
Yeah, and then just own that situation with you. Not only how you style, but you know, some brands that you can fuck with.
Yeah, and also like mix it up. Like, I bought a dress shirt just because I wanted to see how I could fit in the fits, and it popped. People noticed. People were like, "Huh, this is really different." Because it pops. So, yeah, it's always cool to get outside the box and get outside your comfort zone. Also, don't be afraid to get a piece that may not be what you usually wear.
Definitely,
and all that stuff.
Definitely.
man.
All right.
Well, Cam, Grim,
great.
Hey,
It was great having you, man. A lot of knowledge of fashion and trends, stuff like that, man.
Yeah, gotta spread it somewhere.
Yeah, man.
Definitely, man. It's been in depth. It's been a little bit of here, a little bit of everything, bro. And I just loved how you shared everything.
Hey.
You know, we'd love to have you back on. I'm glad you
Definitely
came, bro.
have
It's
you
been a
back
hot
on.
minute.
I'm about to say, the Miz have been in here.
Yeah,
so-
everything's coming out new. Right now, I'll show you the other studio, bro. We sent it to 2 units.
Bet.
Yeah, dude, Cam, it's been great, man.
I appreciate it. I can't wait to be back.
We'll definitely want to have you back, man.
Might tell some more stories. Might give y'all some more sauce. We'll have to
Some
see.
more, man. But this has been the Pumia Sony podcast. I'm Alejandro Gomez.
And your boy Eurosan on time.
And our special guest.
Grim, find me on Instagram. Grim's the Reaper.
We'll post it on the links and everything.
Yeah.
But you can find us on TikTok, Instagram, Spotify, Apple, and YouTube.
Everywhere in between.
Everything.
Make sure to tap in.
Yes, sir. Tap in and tap in with our guests, of course. And this has been the Pumia Sony podcast, baby. We're out.
Hey.
Peace.